Bears banner. I got to eat a little crow right now. I was cracking a joke saying that my bottom two teams was the Jets by themselves. Well, the Jets won and the Bears lose 30-16. So let's get it.
Let's get it.
I had to, man. You know what? I'll take the L, man. But man, win, lose, or draw, they get a W. We got an L.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they put them in the bottom, but at the same
No,
time, I mean, I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, this was a game that was should have been handed to the Bears, you know, on a silver platter. You, you know, Although we can say any given Sunday, the Bears come out in the first quarter, get in the red zone, and wind up scoring two field goals. And in the NFL, you just can't. I don't care who you playing. You just can't do that.
hey, I got to
You
give
just
a
can't do
shout
that.
out. Who was the guy that was on there? Was it Sean last week? The guy that was on there that was giving all the real good comments.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think same.
I got to give him his props, man, because he made it, known that he wanted to know about improving the red zone. But
Yeah,
you hit because
absolutely.
it was the one spot that killed us. When I start talking about being a red zone, being a mentality, you got to go in there when you're in the red zone is we're going to score the ball as opposed to, well, if we don't score, we can still kick the field goal. It's a mindset. They can make this, they can turn this around, but you 1-3, and the two misses that you had, it was just this, man. And the penalties, ugh.
Yeah, I think when we start talking about the red zone, this is who that team is right now. They're a team that, like I mentioned off camera, they score from outside the red zone,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
when it comes to actually win within that 20-yard line, they condense, they get tense, they make mistakes. They're guaranteed to have one of the following to happen in the red zone. They're going to have a false start, a missed assignment, or bad play calling. They're gonna have one of those. I would say absolutely every play today was ran to the right side of the field in the running game, other than the one play where DeAndre Swift bounced it back to the left.
Yeah.
All the red zone plays, other than one on the last drive, were all passes. So you're either gonna trust your quarterback in the red zone or you're not gonna trust your quarterback in the right. It becomes predictable if all you're gonna do is run, and then you try to run like you're a power running team in the red zone, which is weird, right?
And I think what happens that I'm noticing a pattern with Caleb Williams is the closer we get to the end zone, the worse off his play is. It's almost like the condensed field doesn't allow him to see the overall field. And I believe in the passing game, in the red zone, that's what's happening with Caleb Williams. He's not. It's like the field is condensed for him, and he can't. He's not processing that yet.
Hey, Jay, that's an excellent point. And this is the drawback, and this ain't really anything particular about him, the quarterback. It's about his height. Height could be a deficiency in the red zone because I know even last week there was a play where running back ran out in the flat, and some people was like, why he didn't throw it to the guy? And I was like, looking at the angle, I don't believe he can see it, right? Especially if you look at your backfield, if you pass in the red zone, I'm saying if you pass in the closer you are to the red zone, you gotta have stuff outside for your quarterback to see, and they have to get out there fast because even with your backs, both of your backs are under 5'11", and you're going into and all your linemen are what 6'3" and
Six
above.
three and up. 6'3" and
Yeah.
up.
So when you get to that red zone, it is harder probably for quarterback to see. So you probably do need to move the pocket more. They're not moving the pocket at all, other than one play to Loveland.
You know what they got to do? What they got to do is stop this cardiac kid BS, man. They both sides of the ball got to stop going into it thinking that they want to save the other sides. Like, oh, they did this. Everybody just need to do their job. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, we got a level of attrition. We got defensive backs galore out. So you know that we're kind of handicapped. Got to play solid ball. But on this offense, man, with these doggone 11 for 79 penalties, it kills us, man. I think one of you guys talked about it specifically, man. Just say it's just a momentum killer. You could just see the difference when it goes. It's almost like they let the gas out, but until they can just shore that up and start just moving the ball, man.
Well, I mean, they moving the ball, and you know what? It goes back to what I said on the pregame and weeks before. You
Mhm.
know, in the first quarter, the Bears had 125 yards in the first quarter on
Mhm.
offense,
Yeah.
but that's those first scripted 15 plays.
Hmm.
And like I say, I'm not a coach, I'm not an offensive coordinator, never have been, but my mindset is run what works. If the first 15 plays, if you run the plays 1 through 15, those are your scripted plays. You run them 1 through 15. Run them back 15 through 1. Or run them back 5, 10, 15, 1, 3, 6, 9. Do something. You gotta do what's working. Because if you can't continue to establish yourself on offense after the first scripted 15, then that's a problem.
Yeah, you become too predictable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jay. I believe I agree with Chris.
Yeah.
Chris mentions the penalties. This is it's interesting with the penalties, right?
when you say,
Because
but
the opening game this year, in the kickoff at the opening game, you get a penalty on the kickoff. The
Yeah.
opening of this game, you get a penalty on the kickoff and an injury. So not only you get a penalty, you get an injury. They're notorious. What I think Jay y'all gave the penalties, 11 penalties.
for
That's
79 yards.
39
yeah.
yards.
And I think what's happening when you get out of the scripted plays, it almost seems like I don't know if you could put it on one person or not. I'm gonna put it on Ben Johnson because it seems like he doesn't know what he wants to call when they get out of the scripted plays. Because if you look at it, it's points where they're moving the ball, but then they ended up punting after those two, right? They kind of like punted the ball. You get penalties on thirds. And then I think they're not spreading the field properly. Like today, there was too many guys flooding the right side of the field on pass plays. I mean, you didn't see a lot of stuff to the left. I think you got the one with one receiver caught it on the left side. Or it's just the screens. Stop doing that receiver screen. It's gonna get a pick six soon.
They don't, what Ben Johnson hasn't did this week or last week, and I mentioned it on the pregame, is like he's not marrying the plays together like he normally do.
Right.
And that's real. That's not Ben Johnson. So I don't know if it's a thing where he's trying to keep Caleb in a safe environment where he don't want Caleb to have the turnover, but they're not going down the field. You know, in this type of passing game, you got the short, the intermediate, and the deep. And it seems like everything now is uh short, shorter, and then intermediate. And you got to be able to throw the ball down the field. And I mean, you mentioned it, Bernard, last week. You got Rome, who's coming out of college, was known for the 50-50 ball. You got to put you got to put the ball in the air, and they just haven't done that in the last couple of games. They went down the field one time, and I was sitting there like, finally, it was incomplete. The ball to Duvernay, it was incomplete, but at least
Oh
they threw the
yes,
ball down the field. They threw
yeah,
the ball down the field. And you have to do that because if you don't threaten the defense with going down the field, they're not gonna think you're gonna do it.
But
yeah,
you got to practice those other plays that he throws in there too, as well. Because if your whole energy is like good when you're going through the 15 scripted plays, and just say if you're going backwards, if you're feeling good because it's something normal that you know. When you throw the next play out, your whole mentality should just be like, all right, let's go. It's just like the other plays. It was just something that we had added on. It almost seems like when you throw these plays in, it's like they just like discombobulate. It's almost like everybody's not on the same page, and they become way too predictable. And then you start looking like, for example, what you said, Bernard, just seeing them all on the right side of the field. It's like now you've cut your field in half, So we just got to go in next week, man, with the whole mentality of just getting out there, get back to the smash mouth football. But more importantly, I do truly believe with this game, if they had 6 or 7 fewer penalties, we could have possibly won this game.
Well,
But I'm
what would
putting,
have won this game was getting the ball in the end zone.
yeah,
Because, like I said, you go at 14-0 versus 6-0.
big
Now you
difference.
got you got the Ravens having to change what they were running.
They're
They like,
rushing.
okay, they
I just
like, okay, we only down 6-0. So if we
yeah.
score one touchdown and kick the extra point, we up 7-6. And that's what happened today. The Bears was up 6-0, and that
Mm-hmm.
was the only lead they had this
Yeah.
entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
fine.
and also, I know you mentioned the one ball thrown in the air, and I'm gonna move to other parts of the offense. Jonah Jackson is not getting it done. I mean, I had to be frank about that. And Theo Benedict didn't look good today as well. He was allowing too much pressure. Uh, Matter of fact, there was I'm going to say Drew Dowman didn't get it done today either. He allowed a few plays where he seemed like he got confused about the blocking assignment on some pass plays. A free runner came right up the middle of the field a few times. I went right past him, but he actually didn't block anybody. You can't have that. Your center cannot have a play where a free runner goes past him, but he didn't block anybody. That can't happen.
Yeah, but give kudos to the Ravens. You get a wounded dog in the corner, he gonna come out fighting. And the Ravens knew that they needed to win this game today to at least try to salvage possibly their season. And I give credit to the Ravens defense. They came out balling. They came out hitting hard. They came out balling today. So, you have to give that credit. Although the Bears did not a lot to win this game, you have to give credit to the Ravens. They wanted this game more. And I'm a caveat side note. Y'all know I always got a caveat.
Abby,
Mm-hmm.
2021, the Ravens beat the Bears 16-13. It
mhm.
was Tyler Huntley's first NFL start. He he completed 72% of his passes in that game in 2021. The next time he get a start today, 2025, against the Bears, he completed 77% of his passes, and he got a win. So, these are the little things that really don't matter, but at the same time, you have to shake your head and laugh like, you know, we talk about he's the third string quarterback, not even the second string quarterback. Cooper Rush is actually their second string quarterback. But John Harbaugh had to, John, yeah, John, Jim, John had to get somebody in under center that was going to be more like Lamar Jackson. And he actually showed that today. I think he had almost close to 60 yards rushing, Tyler Huntley. And you thinking Tyler Huntley playing, the Bears got a chance. But you was talking about a wounded football team that was desperate for a win.
Yeah, he had 53 yards, Huntley.
53 yards, yeah. Yeah, 53
But
yards rushing.
they played, they were so efficient, man. Because Huntley only had like 22 passes. And it just seemed like he had way more because every time he threw the ball, it was a completion. But they were just efficient. And that's how teams, like when I was kind of talking about the Ravens during our pregame show, a team that has been there, that knows what it takes, they could be a bad team per se during the course of a year, but still they have that mentality. And today it was like, let's just not do nothing crazy. Let's just play on our side of the ball. Let's be consistent. Let's get at it. And they really, when a team loses, sometimes you say, oh, we beat ourselves. They look like the better team on both sides of the ball today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to flip to the other side because I think what happened is we have a tendency to over exaggerate wins for quarterbacks and losses for quarterbacks.
Yep.
In reality, I don't see this game on the quarterback at all.
No.
I do because I see this more on the coaches than anything. And of course, you had injuries, but hey, they got injuries as well. But I think that the Bears' flaw that we already knew existed, they can't stop nobody from running, and they can't stop the pass game. they have got a lot of interceptions that have affected the passing game and has affected to get them more possessions on offense, right? The more possessions you get, the more you figure out what's not working to figure out what's working, right? Which gives you more opportunity to take a lead. When you don't get those turnovers like in today, you have less possessions to try to figure out what will work. The Bears they just couldn't get no pressure on the quarterback.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
No
no
pressure on
pressure
the
at all. Your
quarterback
front
because
four is a problem. Your
You're
front
right.
four is a
You're right. I
problem.
was just looking at that too. Because
I mean, because go ahead.
I'm sorry. The only ones that really got like hits, you got Nashawn Wright, Javon Dexter, Montez Sweat. Javon Dexter played a pretty doggone good game. You know, he had 2 tackles for loss. We just could not get to the quarterback. We only got 3 quarterback hits in the whole game. And yeah, it's crazy. Only 4 tackles for loss.
That's been our problem. We can't get pressure on the quarterback. And you know, I they actually did a pretty good job in the run game today because Henry, you know, anytime you going into a game against Derrick Henry, you actually thinking like, okay, we going up, and everybody else like he finna he finna bust 100, and they did a pretty good job. But once they got the lead, like I texted y'all, I'm like, okay, if the Ravens are smart, they got the lead in this game. Now they can just feed Derrick Henry the ball as long as he getting positive yardage. They salting away the clock. The Ravens had the ball almost the entire third quarter
Yeah.
coming out coming out of halftime because they had the lead. And then they hit, if I'm not mistaken, they hit a couple of big plays, and then they just kept feeding the ball to Derrick Henry. And that's efficient. If you don't need him to run for 100 yards, that's efficient because he gets 3 yards in the cloud of dust, and the clock still keeps moving.
Yeah,
Ladies and
you
gentlemen.
know what the play problem today in the running game was Mitchell. It wasn't that Mitchell was running all on him, but when he
When he got his
actually
carries.
he got his carries, they were very effective
Yep.
carries.
Yep.
I think he averaged about 10 yards a carry. He only had about what 4 or
40,
5 carries.
I think
It
he had
wasn't
40
that
some
many.
yards.
Yeah, 40
Yeah.
something. It wasn't a lot of carries, but he broke some significant ones off. And matter of fact, it's interesting because they had a few things that made this look like we could have won dressed this game. Actually, Mitchell should have not went out of bounds. The game would have been over. We would have never got a possession. Caught a ball. He should have never went out of bounds. They had 2 players in this game that went out of bounds. That's why I'm not tripping about that last possession because we should have never got the ball back on that last possession. They
And
had
you know
players
what's
out of bounds for some reason. And even they ran a play before the 2-minute drill, which was not 2-minute, 2-minute warning. When they could have actually let it run down to the 2-minute warning, they could have just let the time ran out, right? And on 4th down, they wanted to kick the field goal with about 25 seconds, and the Bears would have been down by 13 points. So I didn't understand what Harbaugh was doing.
Check
But you know
this
it's a
out.
tricky it's a tricky situation because what happens is, you know, you have to have the mindset of a player to actually situational football. That long scramble that Caleb had, he should have ran out of
He
bounds
should have ran out of
to
bounds.
Yeah,
save that timeout
true.
because we needed that timeout. And I give him kudos. He finally tucked the ball and ran. But you got to know the situation that you're in, and he should have gotten out of bounds. But you got to know what the situation is, and we had to waste the time out there when we shouldn't have had to.
2 things. One, this is what is called when you got a guy like Derrick Henry, and he has 71 yards. He's averaging 3.4 yards per carry,
What do you
and
have
he
like 19
still
carries or
probably
something like that? What do you have
something.
like 19 carries or something
He
like that?
had he had 21 carries.
21 carries.
But this is what happens when you get a guy like a Derrick Henry that only gets 71 yards, 3.4 yards of grip. He got 2 touchdowns. And he was the most important person on the field because guess what? Every time he got the ball, he made the defense blink because it was like, man, here we go. Now what happens is everybody else is just oblivious in a sense, psychologically. You know what I mean? So it's like all they did was just play ball. And then on the other side with Caleb, man, what they got to stop doing is playing this doggone revenge ball. They make a bad play, then they come up with another play where they try to get a big play. Just move the ball. They could move the ball if they wanted to, but with what we're trying to do and set where we had like 79 yards rushing, that's unacceptable, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Leon, you're right. DJ Moore should have got out of bounds when he caught that long pass.
That's so
He should
true.
have got out of bounds.
Yep.
But again, Leon, I told the guys I was scared. I was hoping he was going to score because I knew once he got stopped, he got stopped on the goal line. We wasn't going to score.
Right.
Yeah.
We do not score in the red zone like that. Either get out of bounds or score the touchdown. Because it's first and goal. The Bears have shown that they can't consistently score in the red zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still haven't figured out who they are, and they're not using their talent to the max on the red zone, right? You got to scheme guys in the red zone, and you look like you're trying to play power running game in the red zone when you come out there. But the penalties keep killing you in those situations. When one of our friends was going back and forth during the game, and he mentioned sacks on third down, and I told him, that's not even an argument this year, really, if you think about it, because you only have 12 sacks. I think 12 or 13 sacks through seven games. That means you're only getting sacked on average two times a game. So even if you got sacked once on the third down play, it only could be once in a game. So the amount of times you're on third down in any given game could be up to 10 to 12 to 14 times. Now, it could be a drive killer in that one situation, but this year, that's not enough of an argument, in my opinion, because the amount of times you on third down, you're not getting sacked. Now, you're getting penalties on third down. You're getting penalties on third down that's making third down instead of 3rd and 4, it's 3rd and 15. Now, if you take the check down, it's only a 5-yard pass or a play or whatever, and then you end up punting.
But maybe it looks different too. It maybe looks different if we didn't have the penalties, because you look right before the penalties, you can kind of see on a few runs that we actually looked like we were trying to build a little momentum, and it just looked like it was just going to start. Then all of a sudden, the air gets taken out the football with a penalty. I talked about this maybe 4 years ago or so. I was talking about them bread and butter plays. As a great teams that go to the playoffs every year and win, there's a play that they have in their playbook that wherever it is, be it red zone, wherever they run it, they know that one way or another, they are going to get positive yardage. It may be 2, it may be 20. But when they walk up, they already know we're going to score. We'll see how much, as opposed to getting in the red zone. Now, all of a sudden, you got your quarterback thinking too much. You're putting too much, feeding too much of the crazy stuff in there. Now he gets out there, and the first thing he does is, boom, he heads out. You know, we need some bread and butter plays in the red zone, because if we could actually just score in like the 60, 70 percentile in the red zone, we can easily go 11-6.
And it's the thing where the Bears are going back, because if you look at the first 5 games, maybe the first 5 games, we were kind of efficient in the red zone. So this is like a new problem all of a sudden. And you know, it's like we took the bye week to fix our running game, and we came back the bye week with a good running game, and then all of a sudden now our passing game is not efficient. So they need to go back to the drawing board, you know, and see what's going to happen. You know, we got a week, but we back on the road again against Cincinnati, who lost today. Which was wild. They lost today. So what they psyche going to look like, but you still coming up against a team that's a wounded team with a uncle quarterback, but you got some studs on offense. So they need to get this fixed. And again, like you said, Bernard, you know, we had Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson. Those are our 3 top corners, and they didn't play today. So if you want to take anything from this game, you had a 3rd-string quarterback playing against 3rd-string cornerbacks on our defense, and he actually got the best of them.
Yeah. You know, in the red zone, also, you could run misdirection plays, naked boots. You know, you got a mobile quarterback. You're not running naked boots. You're trying to pound it. Matter of fact, you're not even right now. It was my complaint earlier. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not smarter than Ben Johnson. Anything is he's it's predictable. And now you found a team that actually shut you down in the
Mm-hmm.
run game, and you didn't have a plan B. That's why I keep saying it doesn't matter. It does matter a little bit, but if you 14 points is not going to win you most NFL games unless you're playing great defense. So you have to keep momentum going. You have to be able to get in scoring positions. And I kind of had the feeling when they missed that field goal, you know, when it came short.
Yeah.
I said, I hope this is not the thing where this team kind of fall apart. And if you look at it, they only scored a field goal. What after that in the second half? I think they only had
Yeah.
3 in the second half. So whatever they was doing, the Ravens were effective enough to stop what the Bears were doing. And I think what Ben is doing, and he may not be trying to do, you're neutering your quarterback. I'm not blaming the quarterback for anything because I think it was a decent game. It wasn't a great game. It wasn't a bad game. It was just decent. I think you're neutering your quarterback. You're playing so conservative to him that you don't want to make a mistake in the red zone. So you're basically just handing it off. And I knew that interception was coming. Me and my brother was talking about that, man, because you not only that was a bad play, you get a penalty that bag you up further. So now you're tense and you don't have that much, and you more worried about. I think on that play, they was almost about to be called for a delayed game.
The bad
Yep.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he threw the ball late. Great read, but it was typical. You know, you focusing on Rome too much, and it's right in the middle of the field again, going towards the right side of the field. You know.
Hey
And,
Jay,
and
can you hit on a little more about you were talking about someone off camera about how the refs, it seemed like they kind of got it out for us.
I can't understand how the Bears just don't get calls. You know, I'm gonna go back to the intentional grounding call. Initially, when I looked at it, I was like, "Yeah, that's intentional grounding." And my brother texted me. He's like, "No," he's like, "Rome was coming out of his break. He was
Mm-hmm.
close enough to have that." So when I look back at it, I'm like, "Okay, that's a bad call." And then the call against um, the corner, the no call, I should say, with DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, this dude clearly pushed off with a hand on the face mask on a crucial play, and the Bears don't get that call. And it seemed like this entire season, the Bears haven't gotten no calls that go their way. But when you look at the film afterwards, or when you look at the replay, you like, what? Why we can't get this call? The play on Zacchaeus on the short pass that he caught, which they challenged, which the Ravens challenged, saying that it was a turnover. That should have been a helmet to helmet call. So I don't understand why the Bears are not getting these calls that all the other teams get.
I do. You know what? We can't put it on the refs, but it's really our fault. I'm gonna tell you why. Pookie, the bad kid in school, always getting in trouble. One day he around a whole lot of kids, somebody set a fire. They turn around, grab Pookie, and send him straight to the office and get the police on him. Why? Because Pookie's always the one. But at that particular time, Pookie was eating a sandwich. He was bad. So it's like this. We've shown the propensity to get penalties in certain situations. And during the course of a game, if a ref kind of sees it but doesn't see it, they're not going to give it to us because it's like we used to showing them that we can get that. We're going to give a penalty until we can show that we're not going to get 11 penalties a game. Until we're going to be more efficient and not do stupid stuff. A lot of them calls going to start switching. But as of right now, you got to show the referees that you're capable of playing a game without more than 7 penalties.
Because I think we had 11 penalties today.
Yep.
I think we had 9 last week.
Yep.
In the game prior to that, I think we had 9.
Yep.
So we averaging anywhere between 9 and 11 penalties per game. And that's not a winning formation.
Right.
That's not a winning formula for winning football.
Yeah, they showed a stat in the game that the Bears lead the league in red zone penalties, which is amazing that they able to in those that stretch of games to get 24 more points in every game, right? Because you're getting you getting that many penalties in the red zone. That's not acceptable. But why haven't you been able to clean this up? Because there's been an issue per the coach, even through
Since week
training.
one.
Yeah.
Not only through training, you're right, through training camp,
Yeah.
even in preseason, and now we're 8 weeks in, and we still have this same problem, penalties, and they kill it. They
It's
penalties
psychological.
they drive killers. They are drive killers, whether you're on offense or you're on defense. Penalties are drive killers because on offense it sets you back. And on defense, it gives the when you're on defense and you commit a penalty, it gives the offense another chance, whether it be a first down or 5 yards closer to the first down. It's just penalties are just killers.
We got to be on that. You better not get off that. We have to get off that. You better not move. You better not move in your head thing. Because now it seems like it's more psychological. It's like the same type of penalties, the same people in the same circumstances. It's getting to the place that it's getting in guys' heads. I remember like you having teams that play in the real loud domes, and it's so loud you can't hear the quarterback, so they start doing silent counts. You ever notice the better teams will sit up there and nobody's offside? They're able to officially run a play without being able to tell somebody height. This team, you don't even have that, and they still can't stay online.
Yeah, here's a perfect example of how we've seen them all through the game. You have a excellent punt. You don't want to have to punt unless excellent punt.
I was just getting ready
You
to
about to say that, Jay? An excellent punt.
Yep.
Ball land, man. It land on what? The 1 yard line or whatever it is. You got them back up, and your penalty is the guy didn't line up right. You had a touchdown call off the board earlier this year because the guy not up on the line of scrimmage. I know that was a questionable on that particular one, but come on. If you held the guy, I can understand on a punt because that might have prevented the guy from blocking a punt. No. If you held a guy, right? If you held a guy to keep him from blocking a punt, you got beat and you tried to keep from blocking. In this case, you just lined him up wrong. Come on, man.
You had a kickoff return today that got nullified. It's just you shoot yourself in the foot with penalties. And not only that, on the first play of the game, you got a penalty on the big return, and then you got an injury. So now you look at that two things. You're like, okay, Dominique Robinson got hurt, and we got a 15-yard penalty. So now we got to move the ball back. It just starts it off just in a negative light where it's like, okay, can we be clean? Yeah. Can we get clean and run the offense? And the last couple of weeks, it just hasn't happened. We was able to eke out a win last week, but this game right here, like I said, when you got a desperate team, Caleb, you got beat by a third. And I'm saying this facetiously because I'm the type of person, I don't put losses on quarterbacks. To me, it's team losses. But you the first round pick in the NFL, and you got beat by a journeyman third stringer.
Yeah. Only winning, you can only come back from that by winning. And I'm looking at the Colts right now. They beating all the breaks that the doggone Titans ever had off.
Yeah. The Colts and Tampa Bay doing the same thing to the Saints, which
it's like what I'm starting to get upset with is I understand the process. It's a process, but I know players keep talking about, oh yeah, we're much better. We're getting better, but you're in the same predicament as last year. Well, how are you right now? I'll be like, hey, we're work in progress. We try to do what we do. We're trying to change some things. We're trying to get better. But now you put that onus on. It's like, okay, so after this game, it's like, okay, y'all say y'all better. Last year, y'all was 4-3. And it just got real bad after that. So what are you guys going to do? Are y'all just going to sit up here and make these stupid mistakes? And who's the guy off the practice squad, the defense that came in? I looked at this dude, and as soon as they showed the penalty, shoot again. He the
his first snap.
Yeah, right over the ball. I'm sitting up here like, man, look.
His first NFL snap.
Me personally,
his first NFL snap, he lined up offside.
And the very first snap, he lined up offside, dude. Just go back to your locker. Just pack your locker up and leave. Just leave. I'm sorry, that's just me because that's like biddy ball. Rule number 1: you on the defensive line, do not line up off sides.
Yeah, his first NFL snap, he lined up outside. So I was like, come on, bro. For
Yeah,
real.
See, that's why I
And
love this post game and love these discussions, right? Because as fans, a lot of times while we watching the game, we're emotional and we operating from a particular bias that we may have.
right, right.
Right? We might dislike the quarterback, so anything go wrong is his fault. Maybe we dislike the linebackers, or anything happen is his fault. We dislike, right? We operate from a bias the way we see stuff. But when we talk through this, we really realize that this team lost because one, they have no discipline to not have penalties.
yep,
Eventually, that's going to catch up with you. Your penalties actually affecting you in the red zone, which is allowing you sometimes to get behind the chain in the red zone, right? Even with the other stuff being a problem, you penalize too much in the red zone. Also, you're being penalized constantly, even in special teams, which is ridiculous. You start the season with, like we mentioned, early special team mistakes. You done had special team mistake with guys lining up wrong, not on the line of scrimmage. You even had a holding in special teams today. Come on, man. Matter of fact, I haven't looked at the stats of it, but in 11 penalties that you would call today, I think 4 of them were special teams.
Yeah, yeah. And you have to think about it. And you have to think about it, Bernard, when you say that, you talk about the previous Bears teams where we talked about, this team is not disciplined and this is penalties. Who was to blame for that? And,
The
and,
coach.
and let's talk about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's
yep. Chris
let's
Beasley.
talk about it. The bottom line is,
Look at this.
that's coaching. That's
Look at
coaching. When you
Chris
talk about
Beasley.
discipline, how is it that you get a 40-yard punt return and don't score? Sick in my head. What a giveaway. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't even get a
Absolutely, bro.
first down on that possession.
Nope, they didn't.
They
They
didn't get a
didn't.
first down.
They didn't. But people want to talk about, as much as I like Ben Johnson. I like Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
But the bottom line is, when we talk about discipline and penalties and all that, it's always put on the coach. So let's not exclude Ben Johnson in that conversation. You
yeah.
know, penalties. Where's the discipline for your team?
Right, like that little TikTok video they got with that little girl. Her mother asked, "You says, are you part of the problem or part of the solution?" She said, "I'm the whole problem."
I'm the whole problem.
The Bears right
I'm the
now,
whole problem.
they're into their heads too much. See ball, line ball up, snap ball, move ball forward. Defense, see ball, go after ball, kill play, kick ball off. It's simple. It ain't rocket science. It's just they got to get out of their heads. And first and foremost, they got to pretend, because there's a lot of players that are still here from last year. Them guys, they need to pretend like that year didn't even happen, because y'all start going back into that. Here we go again. Now you got games that you could possibly lose 4 or 5 games by no more than a total of maybe 8 points. This is a time where y'all need to just go ahead and smash mouth, man. Just get up in there and play and stop these, like I said, bottom line, stupid penalties, run the ball, score in the red zone.
Yeah, Jay, Jay, a guy. The penalties, from my observation, the last 3 games are from tackle to tackle.
Yep.
The first 2 games, I could blame some of those penalties on the quarterback because they were illegal motions and stuff like that, right?
Right.
And sometimes that's the quarterback, because maybe you got people going in motion too late into the snap count, and so now you got to snap it before they could get reset again, right? Sometimes that could be on the quarterback, those type of plays, right? Just because you went in motion kind of late and the clock is running down, you snap it. But most of your offensive penalties now is from tackle to tackle. Now, I would have to say Darnell Wright has done a good job since the first 2 games of not being his name called.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it from, I'm telling you, you're seeing it from what's his name? Jonah Jackson, Drew Dowman,
and Theo Benedict.
That's 3 of your linemen who, now that one on Tooney today was BS. That wasn't. He didn't even move. He didn't even move on that play.
I forgot about that penalty. I'm like, okay, what did he move at? I forgot about that penalty. I'm like, false start. But I'm gonna tell you something. In a desperate team, and I'm gonna give my wife credit for this. Not that she was watching it, but she's always like, if you just call for it enough, they gonna give it to you. If you just do this, if you do it, they gonna give it. And that's what happened. because the players just kept pointing, and then the ref was like, "Oh, okay," and then he threw the flag, and it's like the dude didn't even move.
Mm-hmm.
So the persuasion, the persuasion effect was real on that play because I even rewinded the play. Like this dude never moved, but because they were so persistent on like he did, the ref was like maybe he did do it, and he threw the flag. But that was a bad call as well.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know what? And I'm thinking about talking about a no call. If you get a chance, Jay, I like the. If you look at that play where Caleb throws an interception, I swear that play should have been an offsides. That should have been a free play. I mean, these guys literally stepped into the red zone, pointed at the offense, saying the offense had moved. They didn't call anything, but at that point, that should have been a neutral
It should
zone.
have been a neutral zone infraction.
It
Yeah,
should have been a
yeah.
neutral zone infraction. So they bag out, point at it again, right? They don't
Mhm.
call anything. Then the next play was, not doing that play is an interception. But there should have been a neutral zone infraction because this guy literally comes and he's standing over the offensive guy, trying to bait them into right. I wish they would have just snapped it. Then, well, you know what? He was trying to get him. I think this is what was the fluky stuff in that play because he kept doing like this, like snap the
Yep,
ball.
yep, yep.
Guys in the neutral zone, and that's on Dowman. Come on, Dowman. You're sitting up there looking at a guy standing in the neutral zone, right? And you don't even snap the ball to get yourself a free play. You gonna go on snap it on the cadence, but the quarterback is telling you snap the ball. This guy is standing there, and he's right over. He's in your view, so you should be able to see that. So I don't know. It's a whole lot of stuff. I think they need to clean up by next week.
Okay, Leon saying when folks say it's coaching, what does that mean? I am positive that these things are talked about and emphasized. So the only thing left is switching out players. Then you may get worse. We need better players. No, it's not about that, Leon. When we talk about coaches and discipline, it's really kind of hard. You kind of got me on this because it's really kind of hard. But when we talk about coaching and discipline, the coaches are over the team. So if your team is not disciplined, then people take that as you're not coaching them hard enough, or you're not emphasizing that this is what needs to be done. It's not about switching out. The only time you really talk about switching out players is when a player is just bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But when your team is continue to jump off sides or roughing the pass or pass interference, people say that that's coaching because they say that you're not coaching your players in these areas where they need to be better. That's what that meant.
But you know what?
I hope that kind of
Yeah.
gave you an answer to it.
hmm
But it's kind of hard because the bottom line is the coach is not on the field. So ironically, you really can't say that it's the coach's fault because the coach is not playing the game.
You know what I think though? I also think that, for example, look at Max Crosby. If Max Crosby is consistently getting back in the backfield, coaching is be able to implement something to where we'll still be able to legibly run a play, but by the same token, give protection on that side to keep him back to the quarterback. But if we put a play in and a guy misses a block or there's a penalty and it would normally work, then it's not on the coach. It's the right play. It's just like guys just aren't executing because you're always one missed block away from negative yardage. Guys just got to go in and just do their job, man.
So I hope we answered your question, Leon. That's the
Yeah,
only way. Did y'all notice they could
I got
have
a penalty.
got a penalty too many men on field already had 2 men? Oh, Chris. Oh yeah. You know what?
Yep.
That's funny. That's funny, Chris. I was like, snap the ball, snap the ball, snap the ball. But they got this new rule now where if the offense goes up to the line of scrimmage and they substitute players, then the defense actually do get allowed to substitute players, which is why those two players wasn't really running off the field.
It's like hockey now.
You know how they used to be running off the field trying to get on the field.
Yeah.
But I did notice that, Chris. So I had to go back and I actually had to look that up because I'm like, why wasn't that a penalty? But the defense is allowed to
Yeah.
substitute when the offense is allowed to substitute. But good observation, bro. I
But
love
they
you, man. That's
probably
why I
wouldn't
miss
even
watching.
seen it anyway.
That's why I miss watching ball. That's why I miss watching ball with you, because you and Will are the only two people I watch ball with. So, but yeah,
But they so much in their own heads, they probably didn't even notice it. Even if they tried to execute or something or do something, and that is an effect, at least you can know that they cognizant of knowing. It's like they just sit around like this, like so it
yeah,
doesn't matter. So
You know
that's
what?
a great thought, man. Completely forgot about that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think those are where you know what, you're something, you got so much personnel in a skill position that in plays like that, you need to just sometimes go with who's out there, because you are giving the defense an opportunity to substitute. So now you're running DJ off and Zacchaeus off, and now today, what's the kick returner? For some reason, you started to play him on receiver today. I don't understand why he's out there on
Well,
receiver in today's game.
Burton got a concussion.
Oh, is
That's
that
why.
what it was?
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Burton was in concussion protocol. Because when I
Okay,
saw
thanks for that explanation. Because I was wondering why he was out there so much.
When I saw Duvernay out there, I'm like, wait, whoa.
Yeah,
Because
that ain't
quiet as this kept. That deep ball that Caleb threw, Burton might have been able to get to that.
Yep.
He might have been able to get to that, which has made me look like, where's Burton at? I think Plank put it in the chat like, where's Burton at? So I had to look like, yeah, where is Burton at? But he was in concussion protocol.
What he just really didn't locate the ball, because really the ball was thrown in the right spot. The ball should be thrown right at the edge of the end zone, and the
It would
ball
have been a
was in
heck
the
of a
right
catch,
spot.
though. It would have
Was
been a
that?
heck of a catch. It would have been a heck of a
Yeah, it would
catch.
have been a heck of a catch, right, to get it, but it really was kind of thrown in the right area. So I agree, Burton probably would have got that play. I want to mention some other stuff that he was doing today, and I'm not
Just
sure
real
why
quick.
he kept bringing number 75. Who is 75? I can't. Some
That's
names.
Trapillo.
He kept bringing
as
Capello
an eligible
in
receiver.
as an eligible receiver.
Well,
Another
he had
did
to
it
do
one
that.
time on the goal line. I wouldn't understand why he kept doing it.
Well, he had to do that because Cole Kmet was out today. So
Okay.
he was bringing him in for the extra blocker.
Right.
And because he's the lineman, he has to report eligible. That's why he kept doing that.
Yeah.
That's why he
Right.
kept doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he didn't really do nothing off that. I mean, I thought maybe he's going to work something off that eventually, because I thought when I saw the Pillow in that situation, it wasn't like he was moving his guys off and made it an easy score, right? If he took his guys off the first time and made it a walk-in touchdown, great plan. But it really didn't have any effect, because on one play, Maganga blew up as soon as he got the handoff.
Man, but with Shapiro being that guy or whatever it is, think about the defense. The defense is probably just like, all right, if dude come out, just go ahead, just grab him and just throw him on the ground. It's like he's a non-factor in that respect, because I was hoping they would try to do something, but they just had him out as a decoy. It wasn't like they were watching him because they could catch him. It's just the hard part of just getting them down, but it's, man.
Yeah, you see what's something with him with being it's a discipline problem going on with him?
I don't know, man.
I thought that was a little strange. I saw that.
Hey. Consider the source.
Okay.
When I see stuff like that, y'all know me as a journalist. I have to go to the source, man. Mm-hmm. And that website that said that.
Okay, good. I'm glad you cleared that up. Okay.
Yeah, consider the source. But I just want to go back to today's game and grades. Mm-hmm. And normally we start with the offense and we go defense, special teams, coaching. I want to start with the coaching. And I just really think Ben didn't coach his best game today. I don't know if he felt like he needed to scale the offense back because quiet as this kept, Cole Kmet is like the Swiss Army knife of this offense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He does a lot of the dirty work blocking.
Yep.
He's a hell of a pass catcher. He's a hell of a route runner. He was missing today. And I think that affected Ben's play calling today. I really do. So with that said, I want to give the coaching, I want to give him a C-. I want to give him a C- coaching. And that's overall. I'm talking about Head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams, defensive coordinator. He kind of, I'm just gonna grade the coaching staff because he was, he was without a lot of players today. I didn't see a lot from TJ Edwards today. Um, the pass rush, um, oh, I can't call his name. 55. Oben Obenaje, he's not panning out.
Yeah,
He's not panning out. It was a Grady Jackson sighting today. Chris mentioned that to me on the text. He's like, oh, that's Grady Jackson. It was a Grady Jackson sighting today. But this defense has been kind of decimated with injuries for this game. Dominique Robinson went out on the first play of the game. Somebody else, it was another defensive lineman that got hurt and he didn't
Dexter.
return.
Dexter got
Uh,
hurt.
yeah, Dexter got hurt. I think he did return, but
He
he
did
did
return.
he did miss a few plays. But overall, I'm gonna get a coaching staff a C minus. The offense, as good as they look, and I was chilling because I came in, I hadn't even sat down, and they was just moving the ball, and I'm standing down. I ain't even went and got my place that I normally watch the game. I'm just like, oh, okay, offense moving the ball, they doing this, and then we had 2 field goals, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna give them a C minus as well. Defense, I'm going to give them a C only because they were missing players. They did a great job stopping Derrick Henry. 71 yards for Derrick Henry in a game like this where it could have been a lot more is phenomenal. Special teams, I'm going to give them a C minus as well. We had some good returns, but we also had penalties. So those are my grades for you see Chris say Jared ain't panning out all them dollars. Hey, and he on the books, for next year too. So he gonna be here at least another year. So
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Leon asked. Hold on, I'm sorry, that's not where I saw another question he had. Do you think Caleb is not seeing the field well? You know what? You only could go off the targets, and I do think sometimes until you look at these stats, I think sometimes I have to say we're being fooled by our biases, right? Because, and I'm saying my bias as well. Rome had 10 targets. DJ had 7. Zacchaeus had 7. That's an even distribution of targets, really.
right,
It's really an even distribution.
That's easy.
He only had 3 more targets than the next 2 guys who both had 7. Right. So it may seem like it's coming in bunches or something. Right. That could be it. Right. That maybe we see some on first, maybe we see some on third. So it kind of distorts our perception that he's only targeting that player. But if you look at the amount of targets, the targets are even. That's just like I mentioned last year. As much as people think DJ he got less catches than he did the year before, he actually had 2 more catches than he had in 2023.
Right.
So, but anyway, guy, I'm sorry. Let me get my grades. Coaches, I gave a C minus. Offense, I gave a C minus as well. You're not how to win it too many NFL game with only 16 points. Defense, I gave a D because you gave up 30 points. I don't care how you slice it. I know you had the 1 interception. If you take that 1 interception touchdown, you still gave up 23 points in the NFL game where and you really didn't do anything well to me at all, to be honest. But special team, I get special teams an F today. I get them an F because they had too many penalties.
And I forgot about the missed field goal too.
And you had a missed field goal. That's an F for special teams. What you got, guy, on grades?
A whole gang of C's and an F coaching. I just think that the coaches didn't make the adjustments. Now you're talking about Deo Oyeyingo, Ingbo?
Yeah.
Dango.
Dude had 8 tackles.
Dangbo.
I
think I got it.
And a tackle for loss. And see, but that goes to show you that you see the numbers that he had in a win or in a circumstance we do really good. That's not bad. But when we're bad, you can look at it, which is why sometimes you can't just look at numbers and say, oh, yeah, well, he was the man. When you look at what he did on the field and how he got it, sort of determines everything and helps you to understand it. Uh, Coaching, like I said, they didn't make any adjustments, man. They should have, but they didn't. So, uh, like I said, I get a coaching F, special teams C minus. Everybody else gets C's.
Okay, everybody gets C's. Did they get any sacks today? I think they got one sack, right?
I know.
I
I
think
do know,
Dexter was the one who got the sack. I think Javon was the one. Let me see.
and I think, and I think
Yeah,
Sweat had a sack
Javon and
today.
Montez Sweat had one. They
I
had
was gonna
two.
say,
Him and Sweat.
Yeah,
I
two
think
sacks.
Sweat had a sack today. Yeah, he
Yeah.
now has 4 sacks for the season in 8 weeks. Not good.
Not good.
Not good. Not good. But we can talk about again what we talked about coming into the season. Well, we can take running back off the list, but offensive tackle and defensive end is what we needed. And the defensive end that we signed in free agency is not getting it done. And we gave him a whole lot of money, and he's not getting it done. And until somebody, I don't know what Austin Book at, I still don't know what Austin Book at. Until somebody is able to take some pressure off of Montez Sweat, this is what we're gonna have.
Yeah, because Montez did get some pressure today. I would say he had a few pressures today, one sack and a couple of pressures. But Grady Jarrett has been
Great,
taught.
Jared.
He's just been taught. I don't. Maybe I think he got married this summer. Maybe he got married and got distracted. I don't know. He's not playing. He's not playing. He's not doing no a dang bowl, man. See, this is why I was against some people. Somebody said earlier this week, why don't we get Chase Young? I don't want to sign a dang bowl again.
Right,
That's exactly what you'll be doing. You keep
right.
complicating the problem by signing guys that are not working out. If you can sign somebody who actually has a proven, consistent track record, not a guy that flashed in a few plays. Then you tie up all this money on him, and you just can't get it done, man.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. But this game is the game. Unfortunately, I think I was the only person on the
Mm-hmm.
panel to pick the Ravens. So I sit at a 6-1.
Yep.
But this was a game I would love to be 5-2. But this is a game that the Bears was poised to win, but they didn't show up. They didn't show up, and the fact that they lost this game on the road gives me a lot of skepticism for next week's game as
Against
well.
the Bengals.
So it's really reverting back to when the schedule came out in May. Like, okay, we got to play the Ravens on the road, and then we got to go to Cincinnati on the road. That's how it's playing out to me right now. So we'll see what happens. The Bengals gave up a wild one to JF7 today. Um, so we'll see what happens next week. But this is one that I felt like we should have had, and we let it slip away. And it's games like this that makes you a playoff contender or a pretender.
This
Yeah.
was my. I'm sorry. This is why I said this was a must-win game. Must-win game for us. Okay, the next 4 road games we got the Bengals, we got the Eagles, we got the Vikings, and we got the Packers. And these are road games. This would have been a game at least we'd have some momentum to be able to say, yeah, okay, yeah, we beat the Ravens. You know what? We can do this on the road. I don't want them to be blinking on the road now, but man, just put your big boy pants on and let's get it, man. That's all we can do.
Yeah. You got to hope your corners are back because
Yeah,
these two
because
receivers here don't play.
yeah,
Higgins and
yeah,
Chase do not play.
yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
And even though they
They will.
lost today, I think they put up 38 points today?
Yep,
Yeah,
Like that.
they will wind up throwing us out the stadium.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
will throw us out the stadium without our corners. So I don't know what Tyreek Steve. Well, we could actually forget about Kyler Gordon because he's on IR, so he's missing
Yeah.
a minimum 4 games.
Wow.
We don't. So we hoping that Stevenson at least gonna come back, and we don't. Jalen Johnson, to my understanding, I'm thinking he's out for the entire season.
I think so too.
So,
Yeah.
these guys that we got playing back there today, that we had playing back there today, Mason Wright has kind of proven himself. He's a bend and don't break. you know, he gonna give it up, but he is gonna flash and get an interception here or there. But these other guys like McLeod and the other guy that they had out there today, I mean, these are backup special team players. You know, I'm surprised I didn't see, and I didn't pay attention. I didn't see Josh Blackwell out there in the secondary today. I would have to when I rewatch the game, I will look to see if he was out there. But he's actually a pretty good cover guy, so
Mhm.
we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah, because McLeod had a special. He had a defensive penalty
Mm-hmm.
in the game. I think he had a holding.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a holding on in the secondary holding. Matter of fact, that was on the third down play that ended up that they had stopped them. That actually extended that drive on that particular play. They had their hands full coming up to Cincinnati, and you can't keep going. You gotta look. This is what we said coming into this game. They got to run the ball well. 96 total yards. That's not getting it done, especially when half those yards was by your quarterback scrambling.
Right.
Yeah, because I think Caleb had. I don't have the actual amount of yards. I just got the total yards 96. But I think Caleb that last drive he broke up about 30, 35, 40-yard run. The one we say should have ran out of bounds. Well, that was almost
Yeah.
half rush yards.
Right. Right.
That was rush yards. That's not good enough.
No, it's not. No,
They
it's
had
not.
4 receivers that had at least 10 yards average catching, and Rashad Bateman had 2 receptions for 51 yards. That's 25.5 yards,
Mm-hmm.
catch.
Mm-hmm.
What's our long guy besides the one by DJ? I know that was a long. What was the other ones? I don't think no more than
Our
12
longest
yards.
receiving yard was with DJs. That's it. Besides that, it was Rome's 27.
27. Yeah, I was gonna say Rome had
5 yards.
like a 25 yarder. Yeah, but outside of that, I mean, but this the NFL, and we could bounce back. We can bounce back. It's gonna be on the road, but we got to bounce back. Um, if you want to stay, in the conversation of being a contender, now what we can hope for is that the Steelers beat the Packers tonight,
Mhm.
and so we still right in there, because right now the Vikings are in the basement and we in third place right now in this division, and in the NFC there is no clear cut. I mean, although we got the Eagles, who's clear cut. I'm watching Dallas right now getting the brakes beat off them by the
44.
Broncos.
Yeah.
By the Broncos got the brakes beat off them. So it ain't no clear cuts. The NFC outside of the Eagles and the Lions, there's really no clear cut in the NFC. I mean, you got the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers gonna Buccaneer. So it's just we just need to keep pace.
Hey Jay,
There's no fluff.
have we had a red zone touchdown since the bye week? Passing touchdown. I'm sorry, passing touchdown.
No, nope.
But you
A
know what?
rushing touchdown, yeah, but no passing.
No passing touchdown. There's no.
Hey, the NFL is the no fluff league. You can go in there as a good team if you want to against a bad team, thinking you're gonna walk out there with a W and see what happened to you. I mean, I'm not saying that the Ravens are bad, but indicative of their record, we should have went in there and handled our business. But we got the mentality going there looking at that 1-5 instead of looking at that team in front of us. This is exactly what you get.
Yeah, but and again, the Ravens are a established AFC Championship playoff team.
Right.
So when they backs against the wall, like I said, when you got a wounded dog in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
they coming out fighting, and that's what they did today. And although if you look at what they did, it wasn't dominating.
Right. It wasn't.
We just didn't come to play today. We looked lackadaisical today.
This is us. This was the Ravens all night long.
Yeah.
For some reason or another, they have quite a bit of guys who have been on those championship teams still on that roster.
Right.
I don't care what nobody says, and you have to show me to convince me. Every championship caliber team that I've seen, when it's crunch time, it's like that whole team goes into a whole different mentality. It's almost like robotic, to where ain't nobody jumping offside. This slant is going to be exactly like this. These type of teams, a quarterback can take a ball and throw it with his eyes closed. That guy's going to be right there. It's systematic, and we just got systematically smacked today.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Systematically smacked. That's what happened. That's
Yeah,
what happened.
yeah. Because if you look at the score really didn't indicate how really this game really was only a
True.
one score game, right? Even though they end up with 30. But in reality, this game was over when it was, when
13-6. When it
correct.
was
Yep.
13-6,
It was
this
over.
game was over. It was
Correct.
13-6. This game was over. Because like I said, the Bears took a 6-0 lead and they never led after that.
Right.
So they got the DeAndre Swift, touchdown, but they really wasn't in the game after that.
That's
No.
why it's important to watch the games. If you driving in your car and you ain't got it on and you look at the score, oh, okay, they right in there. If you see in the game, it'd be like,
You're like, no, they not.
it's just like somebody pulling teeth with little baby teeth with tweezers. Just like,
You're like, no, they not.
That's why I'm glad they didn't get that last touchdown. It would have felt good and
It
made
would
the
have felt
score look
good.
good, right?
Because
And it'd have
that's
been
what I was
another
hoping
game.
for.
Yeah.
Because of course I was walking out the door when it was 2 minutes left, and I told my wife, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go run these errands real quick. And it was 2 minutes left. Then DJ caught the ball, so now I just sat down again. I'm like, okay. I'm like, if they score and get the onside kick. Now I was like, you know what? I ain't even for this. I ain't even for the hype myself. I ain't even for to get myself psyched up for that. But it would have felt good.
that's why getting knocked
felt
out
good.
is way better than losing 12 rounds where you get your butt beat the whole fight. At least you go to sleep and just get through all the BS and wake up and say, well, they was coming in fast and I was weaving and bobbing instead of bobbing and weaving, But
Yeah.
this was like a 12-round fight. We didn't win.
Yeah.
Man, we did not win a round. It looked like we had
Nope.
some flashes in round one.
We won the first round. After that, it was 11-1. It was
After that, it
11-1.
was just, and it was one of them ones where you just sitting up here and you just expect to do stuff that's not happening, and you just get to the place like, okay.
Yeah. So we got the Bengals next week. On the road again. Hopefully we can get some people healthy, and we'll see what happens. But this was a heartbreaking loss in the fact that Lamar didn't play, and it was there for the taking, and we just didn't capitalize.
The division ball is coming up soon.
Division ball is coming up
And
real
that's what's making me
soon.
nervous. That's making me really nervous because it's all about, just like I don't know which one of you guys said 10 wins is going to win this division. And think about it. It's just like fist fighting, man. It's like, are we ready to be able to take some blows and still give out some and do good? Because once we get in this division, these little penalty plays, we're going to be on a string of a whole lot of blowouts if we don't fix that, especially in our, in the central play.
And like I say, prove me wrong. I still feel like there is not one team in this NFC North that's going to win more than 10 games. Once this division play comes, that's just how I'm seeing it. I could be wrong, but that's just how I'm seeing it. Nobody in this division is going to win more than 10 games.
If we don't play, we play like this against Detroit. If we play like this against Detroit, it's going to get real bad. If we go into Detroit and play like this.
So we'll see what happened tonight with Green Bay. The Vikings lost. We lost. And Green Bay played tonight. And the Lions are on a bye this week. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Hey, let's get ready to close tonight. Hey, make sure if you're watching tonight on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook, or you watched on Twitch TV, go over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, become a subscriber to the channel so you get those alert notifications. Turn it on. So
Thank you guys for watching.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching.
And thank you guys for coming online with the chats and the comments. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate all that. We appreciate all that for the feedback. We thank you guys. How do we keep lining up in the neutral zone? That's so stupid. Yeah,
I know, right?
Hey, Andre. I don't know either, because I was sitting on my couch like, dude, I don't know if y'all remember. Okay, we got to go. But I don't know if y'all remember the movie where Denzel was the coach, and he's like, he's on sides. Yep. I was looking like, this dude, you lined up on sides. What are you doing? But yeah, and that was his first NFL snap, and he lined up on sides. But I digress.
Well, hey, until next time.
Yes.
Peace.